Hi everyone, welcome back to Bitcoingem channel. I hope you all are doing great. So let us look at TAO on daily. Uh, TAO has basically flipped bullish on all major time frames. So when I say bullish, if you look at 1 day time frame and purely looking at EMAs, just let me show you this. Yeah, we're looking currently at the daily chart, and you can see that this EMAs are flipping bullish. We already had this golden crossover of 21 EMA, which has crossed 200 EMA on the daily, and this is currently acting as support. Similarly, if you look at 3 day chart, another major time frame, this is currently working on this crossover, but the price is consolidating about 200 EMA on the 3 day chart. Similarly, if you look at weekly, then just let me get rid of this drawings. Even on the weekly, if you see, then the momentum is clearly shifting to bullish, where the weekly EMAs are turning upside. So this is a good sign for TAO's recovery attempt. And similarly, if you purely look at this chart from the range perspective, then this has simply been ranging. You can see bouncing from support. You can see this range acted as resistance on a major time frame, and this is another range which goes to all-time high. So purely looking at weekly also, this is purely a range play where this becomes first resistance or the mid range, and if at all it can flip this back into support, then it will go for the all-time high, as we can see over here. Again, we are looking at a weekly chart. This is a weekly chart. This is a weekly supply zone. So price when reaches near 450, 440, 450 on the weekly area, it tends to act as resistance because there has been a lot of supply. So which we can clearly see in the recent past. Entire 2025, this area has been supply. And similarly in 2024, this area was acting as support where there was demand, and we could see the bounce which created all-time highs for TAO. So on weekly purely, if we are taking this as a range, then $450 becomes the most important checkpoint, whether this time it is able to break this successfully on weekly, flip it into support and go for the all-time highs, or whether again this will act as resistance and we'll get another pullback all the way to range low, or also to the mid range, which is at 230 to, sorry, which is at around 290 to $300 region. So on weekly, purely if you're not looking at EMA, then this is a range play. But if you're looking at EMA, because eventually the range has to get broken, in my opinion, it cannot stay in this range forever. And if you think of this as a range, then this is a amazing consolidation, you can say. This was the first move up, consolidation, and eventually breaking out of this range can lead to a new expansion. Of course, for that, it has to flip 750 or break 750 for good. So eventually, in my opinion, this will get broken because I am personally very bullish on this project. But for now, given the scenario that there was so much uncertainty with respect to US-Iran war, there is so much negativity in the risk on assets. Stock markets are correcting, everything is correcting, and given that the fact that TAO is holding well on its own, and that is something which is also an indicator, in my opinion. So for now, what are the important price zones? So when I look at daily, the first important price zone for me becomes this $270 region, 270, 275. This becomes the first important price zone, in my opinion. As long as that is holding support, I think the momentum on the daily will be bullish, and TAO will likely go to retest resistances that are over here around 450, 500, $530 region. But I think it needs a good push, and it can also go for the retest of this zone at 750. So looking at daily, it is looking good for the bulls. If we look at 4 hour time frame, then again on the 4 hour, which will give us immediate momentum idea that what is the momentum in the next 2 weeks or next 1 week. And even on the 4 hour, you can see that the price is acting well. This was very clear SR zone or SR flip, This was previous resistance. This time it acted as support, and we can see a bounce from here. So once it gets above 375 and starts consolidating, it will again go and look for higher levels. So even in the short term, the momentum is with the bulls, and if it can flip this $375 region back into support, then the next targets are obviously in the range of 450 to $500 region. So overall, the momentum is bullish for TAO, in my opinion, and as long as the overall environment stays safe in terms of war, then I think TAO can look for higher levels. The most important checkpoints that you have to keep in mind if you are a bull and if you are holding a bag, that we don't want it to lose 275 to $300 region. That is most important checkpoint. If at all we lose that, then there will be again an opportunity for it to go lower or to flush all this longs, and then we might see another consolidation before a leg higher. So if this is the breakout leg, or if this wants to continue higher, these are the checkpoints that you have to keep in mind. For now, 275 to $300 region, as long as that is holding as support, TAO will make for higher levels of 450, 500. And if at all it flips 450, 500 into support, then we'll see all the way to new all-time highs, or at least the test of previous all-time highs, which is at around 750. So I hope you find this video valuable. Do subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and keep coming back for new videos. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.